chaos and panic spreading amongst cabalists. More heads to roll soon. Posted by Benjamin. July 15, 2013. The cabal that illegally and surreptitiously seized power in the West knows it has lost the war for planetary control. The result is spreading chaos and panic amongst the cabal elite. The signs of this are everywhere now, both in the public realm and in the still secret world of military, spy and gangster agencies. On the public side, the head of Homeland Security and 15 top Sabatean agents within that department were fired last week, joining the 26 generals, CIA head David Petraeus, Senate Intelligence Committee Chief Jay Rockefeller, Pope Maledict, Queen Beatrix of Holland, Prime Minister Julia Gillard of Australia, King Albert II of Belgium and many others in a purge of cabalist operators. Only Eric Holder now stands, and probably not for long, between President Obama and the legal moves to remove him from office. On the yet-to-be-made public side of things, Italian P2 Freemason Lodge members say former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi of Italy is planning to seek political refugee status, maybe in Russia. In Japan, public security police sources say that cancer-stricken Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has only a few months left to live and that a replacement has already been chosen from within the current ruling clique. There are also ongoing secret negotiations between representatives of the Gnostic Illuminati, the heads of the world's martial arts societies, the White Dragon Society, the government of Russia, the Dragon family and the Green and Blue among others. According to several key negotiators, there is a broad agreement on the need to replace the current ruling structure of the planet with something more benevolent. There is disagreement, however, between hardliners, mostly in the Western military intelligence apparatus, who want to completely eliminate the 13 Sabatean bloodlines, and the moderates, including the White Dragon Society and various Asian groups, who favor a Truth and Reconciliation Committee, a Jubilee and a general amnesty. In any case, discussions about what comes next are still taking a back seat to the ongoing efforts to remove the cabal from power in the G7 countries. The cabal has been fighting tooth and nail to keep at power. In the U.S., the firing of DHS head Napolitano helped derail a plot to use the highly propagandized Zimmerman trial to trigger race riots as an excuse to declare martial law in the U.S. The involvement of U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder in attempts to stir up race turmoil is now being investigated. In other cabal moves, a bombing attack on a Russian naval base in Syria is being reported as having involved Israeli planes flying out of Turkey. This is a clear attempt to provoke a Russian military reprisal against NATO member Turkey, triggering World War III and thus the Sabateans' long-awaited Armageddon. Of course, nobody is being fooled anymore by such false flag operations. Russia responded by holding emergency military drills in the Far East, on the opposite side of Russia from Turkey, sending the signal that, we will retaliate but not when and where you think. Instead of being fooled into war, Russian and Gnostic Illuminati agents say they will be targeting Sabatean mafia leaders and top family members in Europe. Credible threats were also received from MI6 sources of another nuclear terror attack against Japan. In the latest plot, a nuclear device is supposed to be smuggled into Tokyo through a network of secret underground canals via the U.S. airbase in Yokota in western Tokyo. The source for this warning is the same one that told the Japanese before March 11, 2011 that Japan was about to be hit with a nuclear attack. The cabal is also trying desperately to stave off bankruptcy in the face of a growing global boycott of cabal income sources. In Japan, they have bribed Shunichi Tanaka, the head of the Nuclear Regulation Authority, to prevent the reopening of Japan's nuclear power plants, according to Japanese military intelligence sources. Reopening the plants would mean Japan would import $35 billion less oil per month from cabal-controlled oil exporting countries. As a part of this campaign, various gangsters and agents have been spreading radioactive cesium around Fukushima, according to Japanese police sources. The cesium is mostly industrial waste from the oil and medical industries. The Public Relations Office of the Nuclear Regulation Authority refused to comment on these allegations when called by this reporter. Despite such moves, cabal control of the oil industry is ending. For example, Australia has announced it has discovered more oil than in Iran, Iraq and Venezuela combined. http://moneymorning.com/article/arkkaringa-saudi.php question code equals 131883. Combined with Canada and Russia, it means the world will no longer have to go to the volatile Middle East for oil. Meanwhile, a boycott aimed at bankrupting the cabal government in the United States is gathering momentum. Purchases of U.S. wheat, rice, beef and other commodities are being curtailed by multiple countries including China, Russia, South Korea and Japan. In addition, the ongoing fires and crashes of Boeing jetliners is apparently part of a successful campaign to shut down the exports of largest U.S. exporter. The death of U.S. financial criminal Mark Rich has also exposed him as the head of an operation started in the 1990s during the Clinton administration that has been replacing U.S. gold supplies with tungsten-coated bars, according to MI5 sources. Most U.S. gold supplies have already left the country, meaning the U.S. dollar has no gold backing inside the U.S. The gold was apparently stolen by the families that owned the Federal Reserve Board in order to stave off bankruptcy. The Chinese Communist government, meanwhile, has bailed out Goldman Sachs in South Korea, according to an executive of a Japanese securities company. In return for continued bailouts of this sort, U.S. corporate government spokesperson Obama informally offered the Sandwich Islands to China, according to a source close to the U.S.-China economic negotiations that took place last week. The Sandwich Islands were renamed Hawaii shortly after the U.S. invaded and took them over in 1900. Russia has also been offered the Aleutian Islands, according to FSB sources. Needless to say, once the criminal corporate government in the U.S. is bankrupted and removed, the restored Republic of the United States of America will declare all such agreements null and void. Meanwhile, Russia's move to control the Middle East and thus European energy supplies, combined with the Pentagon's refusal to intervene, has sent shockwaves through European corridors of power. President Obama called Russian President Putin about this issue last week, but all Obama can do is wring his hands. The Germans have taken a more robust response to Russian oil power politics by vastly increasing solar power generation and allowing the sale of 200-mile-per-gallon vehicles. In any case, expect pressure on the cabal to increase steadily until humanity is finally freed.